teh O no sugar.
Oh.
It's, it's like almost teh O kosong, but it's okay.
They don't always give you a stir, right?
No, it's
Yeah,
okay. The topic for today is... What is it?
How?
We only have about half an hour at most to record this, so we're going to be speeding through. We're going to catch a flight to
Yes.
Australia, to
Mhm.
Sydney,
Yep.
on our first combined work trip. But we wanted to film this real quick because you guys requested for this video, and we feel really bad that the first video couldn't be posted because of technical issues, although we had some interesting topics on there.
The fact is that like on the first one, to be
Yeah.
honest, we like ramble on and on. It's
Yeah.
very like organized, you know, the kind of topics that we're talking about. So yeah, now that you guys have selected a topic for us, yeah, lor, I think it's much easier to just talk about it. Okay, yeah. So what do you know are ways of having stable income when you're traveling on the go?
I think like based on what I've heard from other travelers and also what I've learned along the way, one is like they have passive income, passive flow of income, whether it comes from investments or a business or renting their room. Another thing is they are managing their own business, like they have a side hustle. Another thing is they are remote workers by themselves. But I do know that actually a lot of backpackers and travelers, they just learn to live life without a stable income. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like when you say like those backpackers, right? In my mind is like they just set aside like maybe like for example like a $10,000 budget to travel across Southeast Asia. It doesn't matter if they earn or don't earn,
Yeah.
but throughout that whole period, maybe for like 3-4 months, they just expect to be spending that money already. Yeah. But just now when you said like passive, right, income, right? Actually it got quite. I think it really like got quite a lot lah. Like what you say about like rental or that, I feel like it takes less. I feel less work upfront. Like even like I think the most
Really? Okay,
if you have a space.
put a pin
Okay,
on
okay,
it.
okay,
You
okay.
continue first.
Yeah. But like okay, like if you put it together with for example say finding a remote job. You have a skill set that can be done remotely, right? Then I feel that is the easiest way for you to travel and still be earning some like a sort of income lah when you're on the go. But like I also know like creators for example, right? Correct. Yeah, they really have to do a lot of upfront work.
Upfront work. What do you
Correct.
mean by upfront work?
So for example, maybe they could start off as like the backpackers who just set aside a certain amount of money, right? And then they just want to travel and make content. So in their first few months, they really just spend. But then only then do they like if they keep posting content or what and they make it, then like they start getting gigs, right? Or like sponsored content or whatever. Then I feel like that's where the income comes in. If that's the case, then like do you think comparing that to renting a room, is it like easier?
Okay, the thing is, I don't think there's a one easier than the other. Because if you think about it, like, oh, renting a room, sure, it sounds easy. But first, how do you get ownership of a house and a room? It's like you have to like put in years of work and like savings for you to even have a place in under your name. Or if you're lucky enough to be handed down an apartment, something like that, then yes, I can say that's easier than investing in your like creative like output and going all that stuff. But otherwise, like if you actually have to work to own a place and then rent it out compared to putting in the money to like take a few trips first and invest in yourself or like invest or believe in your creative output, I feel like both could go really wrong. Like, I mean, like you could put in years and still years of work and still not like afford a place. Or if you happen to be living in Singapore, you can't buy a place like or public housing unless you're 35 also. So it's like unless the Singapore context that you're super good in investments and like you're really good at making big money, then sure, maybe you can buy a one room condo at a younger age, lower than 35. And a lot of people do that now. Like it's in the news sometimes, like, you know, young 20-ish, they buy their first condo and stuff. It's not like impossible, but I guess those are usually people who are like in those major sectors of IT, business, investments, finance, insurance agents or like housing agents, that kind of like sectors. But like for me, like coming from like a social service sector or like community work sector, like there's no way I could have like worked enough to like buy a condo in Singapore unless like I'm a super like I'm a social worker by day, investment mogul by night, that kind of thing. Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, like one thing I want to say is that it all depends, I feel like, how you define what is a stable income. Like one point you made that like, I want to like elaborate on is like, okay, you said like if someone like a traveler like puts a lot of money in first, is it,
Correct.
and like then build up like the
Yeah.
career through
from
the
there.
travel and stuff. Okay, but like even in that case, even if that person does make it into like a situation where he does get jobs, he does get offers, how consistent is the offer coming in? And every offer is being paid at like is being bartered at a different price depending on like the deliverables. So it's like in a sense, is it stable? Because like you could get a 5K deal in January and then there'll be
Yeah.
nothing for like maybe 2 months, and then you could get one like 1K deal in March. And do you consider that stable? For certain people that might be okay if they are like they only spend 1K a month and they travel on a budget, then they'll feel like as long as I break it down and per month I earn about 1.8, to me that's stable. So I get like the bulk 5K first for
Correct.
January. I
Split
split it up in a few months. In my head it's stable because I'm doing my spreadsheet all the time basically, you know. But like if you're saying stable like every month I have to earn 3K, then I would say like having a passive income like a rental place or like an investment kind of like thing going on the side, that would be more stable or in your alley. So I guess it's all up to like your comfort level also, and how you reframe your mind around the idea of stability. Eh? Oh no, it's the reflection. I thought there's a streak in the sky. I know that like although it might seem like, oh, cannot be like all these travelers like so carefree like surfing, and then like, oh, must be like their parents are rich or whatever. Like, okay, maybe sometimes, but it's like I've really come across people who like have a few businesses although they are young.
Yeah.
Like they really like are super good at investment, and then like this guy he just outsources all his work like processes to other people, so he pays salary because he's earning enough from his business. So actually he frees up his time, like his 9 to 5 he's just surfing, like the other times in the day he's just checking in with his staff to make sure that his businesses are still running, and then the 9 to 5 is just like his money is working for him. There are really people in their 20s 30s who are just really good at doing that already. Yeah, like unfortunately I'm not lah, but I'm saying like it is possible to do that. Director's cut.
But I mean, this is based off like what I know. My whole work career has been just like video and like editing, and so like, I mean, video editing is still one of the kind of remote work that you can find. I think is, yeah. I mean, I've been trying to find it also, and like I've been on platforms. It's really available. And yeah, most companies I feel are leaning towards remote editors, social media managers, all that. Yeah, I feel just creating reels, creating content for them, right? Doesn't have to be like on site one. Yeah, this was another thing that I thought about, which is like I think it's good that of course if you can find like a full time remote work, that is the best, right? But then I feel like with freelance, right? Correct. If you have a lot of different skill sets, right? If you can schedule and like be very well organized, right? You can actually earn a lot more than you think,
Oh, that's true.
right? For example, video editing, if it comes in here and there, if it's a freelance thing, maybe like they expect you to edit 4 or 5 kind of videos per week, right? Then while they are reviewing in a sense or what, on the weekends, right, you'll be doing another like social media head management for another company. And then we also talk about like the virtual, what's a virtual assistant? It's basically like you just help companies with things that they can hand it off to people. So like
Oh.
research.
Um,
Uh,
I've actually done that before.
yeah, yeah.
Without even knowing that's what it's called.
Yeah, because you've done it, right? You do see like it can be remote, right?
It can definitely be remote, but whether it's stable or not,
Yeah lor.
that's the thing.
Correct. But there are like full time virtual assistant jobs.
There are full time, but there's also a possibility like if you don't get full time, then you diversify your skill set to like get a few like how to say badges, put it around your belt,
Yeah.
and then you can like do a few remote like juggle a few remote jobs that are basically freelance or like pay part-time basis.
Actually, so you know how because you're not on site, right? So if you get a remote job, technically you can stack, if in a sense, is it allowed? You know what I mean? Because if you're present, then it's easy for them to track. But if you're remote and you know that you can do your work, maybe in like they give you a 5 day timeline, you can do it in 3. You know that there'll be 2 days extra for you. You can either choose to rest, or if you're a hustler, then you find another remote job lah, right? Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the company lah, any contracts are or what. But I
Yeah.
mean, doesn't stop you from like doing that, I guess.
I think that's one way to diversify your income, but that will like spread you thin because all of those are like active ways. So like having one sort of passive income, I think is still the best way. So I would say if you're not there yet,
Yeah lor.
then maybe work on your passive income first with a 9 to 5, like while managing a 9 to 5 job, then you just travel on your annual leaves and stuff. Then in your 30s you can enjoy like traveling more often while your passive income has built.
Then I guess like unless you are at 20 and then you want to really travel and you die want to, then I guess you just gotta find a remote job lah that can sustain you lah. Right, cause you have your friends who are like traveling and then
In
riding.
my 20s,
Not like 20s lah, but if they somehow can land that kind of job,
do you have any friends in your 20s that have stable income and traveling?
I feel like most of the friends that I know is business one.
So they don't travel.
They travel on holidays
So annual
as
leaves
holidays.
travel.
Yeah, annual leaves travel. They don't really like plan that like, oh, I want to travel more often, so I should build something towards that. Yeah, they are. I feel like they are more building towards what Singapore wants them to build, lah.
Right.
Like the houses and everything, marriage and everything.
Yeah. To you, what do you feel is stable?
Okay. I mean that's partially the reason why I decided to freelance, correct? Because if I feel like I don't do it now, then I won't do it later on in life really. Yeah. So like, I feel like right now my definition of a stable income, right, is very, very low, the standards, because I mentally already know that I'm working towards something. I feel like for me, if I'm on the road, right, and I can cover expenses, costs, then I feel like that's stable already. It's not like you're bleeding too much lah, in a sense. Yeah, like during the trip, right? I earn like 1 point something to cover costs of like expenses like food, transport. That's okay. But I know like flights and like comms is usually quite expensive lah. Yeah, but like it's not like I'm bleeding out extra 1,000 plus per month. You know that kind of thing. Yeah, if I'm at this stage, I feel like that is enough for me because I'm working towards like a goal. If it's like really I intend to like forever stay overseas, right? Then I know that's not sustainable. Yeah, then I feel like I will have to earn more than that, that I can cover everything. Then that's when I feel is stable.
But what I mean is, stable to you, does it mean monthly, every month is the same?
I see both as stable. If you can manage your income well, even if you earn like 5 at the start of Jan and you can split it up into 3 months, then that's stable to you.
Yeah.
Cause like then your bank balance is still gonna be there right? It's just like you get advance right? Instead of like every month pumps it in. Yeah, but then the other way of course that one is the more standard thing thought of like stable lah. Stability way is like every month you get a certain amount.
I've only recently shifted my perspective, but all along I've always felt that stable means every month is the same. And you know you have your annual bonus, you know you have your performance bonus, that's stable, you know. But like, I think as I grew older, my priorities in life or what I feel is the most valuable thing in life changed. And because of that, my definition of stable also changed, because my definition of stable will then support what I feel can sustain the most valuable thing in life, which is my time and living life how I want it. So as long as I'm earning enough, I think it's stable. So like you said, like even though like a month I may not earn as much and then the other month I earn a bit more, as long as I spread it out, it's about the same. As long as that peanut butter jar can last me the whole year, it's okay lah. Like some days I spread a bit more, I want more sweet. Some days I don't want too sweet, I spread a bit less. Like it's just like that. Just make the peanut butter jar last. Then to me it's stable.
Like because I know also like some people, I guess maybe to their definition of sustainable and like stable, right? Maybe on top of that they want to be saving more, where it's like same in Singapore, but you're doing job overseas to travel in that sense.
Oof, a
Right.
bit dark.
Yeah.
So it's like having the best of both worlds. I think in any situation, it's like you want your cake and eat it too.
In your mind, do you think that is possible?
It's possible. Just put a little bit of logic and perspective in this, along with logical timeline of life. I think most of us are not like born on a silver spoon and don't have a lot of generational wealth. Then more often than not, you'll be like paying your own phone bills, paying your own insurance. Like by the time you get your first job, that kind of thing. You will start your own savings that when you're very young and all of that. So logically speaking, you'll be using your 20s to kind of build your own wealth. Then can you actually travel a lot in your 20s and still have a stable income? Because for you to have a lot of like things around your belt, like have a lot of like possible remote job opportunities, you will need time to even get those skills, no? So it's like, how are you fresh out of college with like all of those, unless you're a little bit on the blessed or like wealthier side of like life lah, then okay, you don't need to like take too much time to build your wealth. You can straight away jump into like building your skill set and like jumping into the deep water, that kind of thing. Not say like there's people who don't also. Like there are also people like who like have smart and like they have higher risk appetite and they just like do it. But then it also depends like on a lot of other factors also. Like you have to think like are you like the eldest in your family? Do you have younger siblings who need your support? Do your parents need you to like support them also financially? Like these are all like little factors that kind of like define whether or not you have your 20s to find yourself or you have your 20s to build your foundation first. Like I think that's the very varying crossroads onto like people who can find yourself in your 20s, or like your 20s is really just to like hustle. So it really depends, but I think first, I think the main question is to start with what are your like core or like key um, responsibilities you absolutely have to fulfill, and what are your like must maintain. So like for me, my must maintains are like my investments and insurance and my savings, and then like the balance is like the balance money and the balance time is like, okay, now what can I do with this, how can I make this into something. And then after that, once you've defined all of that, and then you have to ask yourself like, what is my definition of stable.
So like right at the start, actually, this question also a bit. It's like a bit. It's dependent lah on people, like what people see as stable, like you said.
I can't concentrate.
I know.
But like, yeah, do you think we got what we got?
Yeah, I think we covered most in terms of stable.
Like he should walk to